And I'll just get your reaction to the firing of the Secretary of Homeland Security. I'm going to guess that you're not displeased with the news.
No, I'm not, though I am anticipating, and perhaps I hope I'm wrong, that he will not be putting anyone any better in the position. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But, if he keeps hiring idiots who don't support his agenda, nothing's going to get done. And we're going to keep hearing these idiot panels on CNN and MSNBC acting like Kirstjen Nielsen was some kind of hardliner and she's breaking the law and he was ordering her to break the law. I love how liberals are suddenly so interested in not breaking the law. Could we apply that to our immigration laws or people breaking illegally into the country? I mean, it is not illegal to enforce the law. It is precisely that Trump campaigned on and his supporters wanted him to do. Please keep the laws on immigration. They are not being enforced. But the only guy who can do it is Chris Kobach, Mr. Harvard, Yale, Oxford, elegant person. The idea that he would have any trouble getting through the Senate is complete nonsense. He's not a wild-eyed yahoo. He's just someone who's smart.
Oh, come on, Ann, don't you think Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins are looking for an excuse to, engage in some virtue signaling yet again by voting against your guy?
Collins? No, not at all. Murkowski is a moron. Yes, she'll vote against, anyone. She surely did not vote for Trump, for example. So, so what? She's like another John McCain here. Trying to persuade stupid people is not my forte. Susan Collins, on the other hand, I always thought she would, and she did. She voted for Brett Kavanaugh. Just because Chris Kobach is a patriot and loves his country does not make him extreme or a hater. No, he's an incredibly elegant person. He's well-spoken. He's soft-spoken. Again, he went to Harvard and Yale and Oxford, not as some cheesy Rhodes Scholar, but as a Marshall Scholar. That is just the kind of person. Look, we have to get, you ask me, can he be confirmed? That's what I'm talking about here, Pally. It has to get through the United States Senate. The United States Senate is made up of mostly millionaires, people who either went to good schools or acts like they did. Someone like Susan Collins, and I don't say this disparagingly, I'm just describing the strategy here. Someone like Susan Collins, Jeff Flake, they are not going to treat a Chris Kobach the same way they would treat, a Holman, Holman, whatever his name is, the one who's the head of ICE, even a Tom Tancredo or a Steve King. And by the way, I like these people. They're good on the issues. Kobach isn't that. He is not a wild-eyed yahoo. He is elegant in the same way Brett Kavanaugh is an elegant person whom both Jeff Flake and Susan Collins would be happy to invite to a dinner party with them. That's an important issue in order to save our country.
Is he elegant or is he eloquent, Ann? Or is he both?
Well, he's both. He's very well-spoken. He early on endorsed Romney for the self-deportation. He was the one who designed the self-deportation, which you may recall was the toughest any presidential candidate was on immigration. Your candidate, Newt Gingrich, was weeping about children
Why do you keep saying
from
that?
The arms of their grandmothers.
What do you keep saying that? I was never for Newt Gingrich.
I like this. This is a rumor we can start, though, Ann. I'll go in on this.
Well, who were you for, then? You wouldn't tell me. I can tell you who was the best on immigration.
I was probably more for Mitt than anybody else, just because I knew him and he had promised that if Kerry was elected, he was going to appoint me to the U.S. Senate. So that would have given me a real leg up, in the lobbying game.
Steve, can you come in here again, because I don't have a daily radio show for 3 hours. I think we know more than probably who Howie Carr was for there. In any event, that was a good sign in 2000. Whatever year it was, 2012, because Romney was the toughest on immigration. And again, it was Kobach who designed the self-deportation idea, which, I mean, I don't think he used that word, but yeah, you don't have to round them up. They go home the same way they came in. We didn't round them up to get them here. We don't have to round them up to get them home. It was a good idea. He's the one who designed, he worked, I guess, in the Bush administration. He designed the E-Verify program, approximately the only successful federal government program in world history. And again, I mean, look at him. Look at his interviews. He's not like me. He's not like you. He's not like Tancredo. He's a very elegant person, and I thought it at the time. I may have been too nervous and had my fingers crossed too much to tell you, but I always thought that Susan Collins is going to vote for Kavanaugh because he's a respectable, presentable Republican, and you can sneer and laugh at that, but you have to get these guys through confirmations, and it's just driving me crazy that somehow, I mean, this has always bothered me, even the media certainly, and even some conservatives seem to think of conservatism as something bad and evil. And if you want to protect our country and protect the working class and the middle class, ooh, you're a bad. No, you aren't. Chris Kobach is a wonderful, compassionate human being. He happens to be very smart, very elegant, and he loves his country.
I'm going to make a prediction, Ann, that he's not going to get the job. That's my prediction.
Well, that's my prediction based on 2.5 years of Trump not keeping any promises and thinking he can scam his voters by just blaming everybody else.
Well, we're back to this point again, though, Ann. I mean, he's a party of one.
If he wants to get any of this done, well, he isn't if he hires Kobach. That's the whole point. If he hired anyone who agreed with his agenda and had any idea how to get it done,
he's got. And again, I keep coming back to the same argument, the same point. Say Stephen Miller is in the White House, and Stephen Miller is apparently the one who put the idea in Trump's head to fire her because he was just tired of her alibi all the time for the fact that she couldn't get anything done.
I'm hearing different reporting. I wouldn't go by take as fact the reasons for her firing. What does it matter? She's gone. She couldn't get the job done. I knew that from the beginning. I knew that a week after Trump was elected, that if he didn't hire Chris Kobach, he would fail. And the fact that he continues to not hire the one person who could get everything he wants done means he doesn't want to get it done.
Wait, you think he thinks there's a plus side to keeping the border wide open and lawless like this, with all these people just being dumped on in the downtown areas of San Antonio and El Paso? I mean, there's no upside for him for this to go on.
Well, what I think he thinks, which is incorrect, but he thinks he can fool enough people, he's fooling you, Howie, that if he just goes forward and says, I want an A for effort, and there's no wall, and this is the worst immigration crisis ever, but I'm going to bluster about it, so I think I should be rewarded for wanting to do something. No, we voted for results. We didn't vote for angry tweets or bluster. It's just preposterous that he thinks he can con enough of his voters, especially somebody who won the last election with 90,000 votes, spread out over 4 states. I mean, look at Reagan and Nixon. Their re-elections, they both, they won their first election. Their re-elections, they got like 150% of what they had gotten the first time. They had so transformed the country, done such an excellent job. You want not only all the people who voted for you last time, but normally you get a whole lot more.
Give me President Ann Coulter's plan to solve the problem. Knowing that Congress is not going to appropriate any money for you, and knowing that the federal courts are going to try to put an end to anything you do. Tell me what you're going to do.
Same thing I've been saying since Election Day. He needs to hire the people who can get it done. Who is the person who can do that? Chris Kobach. Go back and look at my column 1 week after the election when it looks like he was and then he wasn't going to hire Chris Kobach.
Okay, so what are you going to do? What should he do? What should Chris Kobach do then? What should he do? Give me 3 steps. The first 3 things he should do to solve this intractable problem.
Why I supported Kavanaugh? Did I have to tell you how he was going to rule? I know he's smart. I know where his heart is. I know that he will do the right thing.
No, but you keep telling me that Trump can do this if he wants to do it. So I'm just asking you,
Tell me. Look up what Chris Kobach has to say. He's not hiring anyone who wants to get it done, Howie. There are a lot of things that can be done, but I'm telling you that your question is not a good question. I will answer it, but the answer is because Trump apparently wants to tweet and golf. He doesn't have to bother his pretty little head about this. He has to hire smart people who will get it done. Among the things that could be done, immediately you have to overturn the Flores
If I were in court,
settlement.
if I were in court, I would say, Your Honor, direct the witness to answer the question. But now you've begun answering the question. Okay, the Flores decision.
It's a dumb question. He posted it on Breitbart yesterday. Look it up. Chris Kobach, you don't need Congress to seal the border. 4 steps we could take. Want me to go to Breitbart and read it to you? I haven't even read it, but I can guess what some of the things are.
Okay, the Flores decision, that's the decision which says you have to reunite the so-called family units after 20 days, right? No, the Flores, it was this sneaky thing the ACLU did. They go in and they say, first they bring a lawsuit saying, other children, they're children. You can't hold children. Okay, we won't hold the children. And then they say, but you can't separate them. You can't separate them. Right. So 20 days.
As a consequence of the 2 completely contradictory positions that the ACLU has taken in court and an idiot judge approved, anyone coming with a child immediately gets entree into the country. So how do you change something like that? You have a rule. So you issue a rule. You have, I forget what it is, 60 days, 90 days. Don't memorize things. You can look up. That's Albert Einstein's rule, and it's my rule, too. So whatever day for notice and comment, the rule gets changed. He could have done that day one of his presidency if only Chris Kobach had been there. He is also the commander-in-chief. He can put troops on the border. He can put them 1 foot into Mexico. He sure doesn't mind bombing innocent Syrians. Boy, he can do that without checking with Congress. But the country on our border that is actively harming American citizens, killing American citizens.
I know.
No, you can't go 1 foot into Mexico and have the troops there. Okay, there are 2 ideas right there. I haven't even read Kobach's 4 ways you can do this, Mr. President, without Congress. Look it up.
All right, Ann. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it as always. What's the title of your latest book?
Resistance is Futile, How the Trump-Hating Left Lost Its Collective Mind. And boy, is that true. They're the only people who could get Trump reelected, the Democrats.
It looks like they're doing a pretty good job of it right now. His numbers are up in the polls. None of